Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Badr Addas and welcome to my page, The Writer's Block. In this page, I will have several lessons where we can learn from one another about writing. I have written a lot in my life. I've written articles, I've written books, I've written essays, and I've also had the fortune to even write poetry. So without further ado, let's dig into the topic. What's the first thing we can do in order to improve our writing? Our writing can be read by a lot of people. So we have writings for school, writings for the paper. We can write for our jobs, emails, text messages. If you think about it, there's a lot of writing events. And be careful, there's a lot of writing tools. You can use artificial intelligence to help you write your essay. You can use Grammarly to help you check for your grammar. But that's not what we want to do. We want to learn how to write. Because believe it or not, writing actually flexes your mind. If you constantly use artificial intelligence, especially if you're a child or a teenager, or you don't know how to write, you want to avoid your writing opportunities by using AI, you're really destroying a clear opportunity for you to learn. Now, what's the value of writing? There's a lot of value of writing. But before we jump into the value of writing, let's talk about the first thing you can do in order to improve your writing. And that is writing feedback. You can write feedback about anything you've ever read in your life or anything you've ever learned in your life. Guess what? When you write feedback, that information comes out of you. It proves that you have thought about the topic that you are thinking about. It proves that you have thought about it clearly. See, you're already thinking about it. Someone has given you a piece of information. Someone has just told you, for example, that the price of bottled water has increased by 50%. See, you're already thinking about it. But if you think clearly about it and that you want to give feedback, you want to say, well, the price has risen by 50%. That could be due to a number of reasons. And that first reason is the rising cost of plastic, or the rising cost of shipping, or the rising cost of electricity for those shops. So what you're doing here is that you're working your mind into a sequential feedback cycle. So the person who has told you that the price of bottled water has risen may not give you the time to actually give your feedback. It could be someone who's passing by. He's like, guess what? You got to pay 50% more, something like that. You could be walking by an alley, your friends at school telling you that you have to pay more for water. But here's the activity that you can do. For every passing information, you go back home, you open a notebook, and you start writing feedback. Every written feedback actually trains your mind to the activity of writing, and that information has come out of you. It has left more space for creativity inside of you. Now, what is the real value of writing? Now, I've written a lot of articles, as I mentioned, and writing one article after another, topics usually build on top of one another in the writer's mind. And some topics go within one another, building a strong intellectual understanding. So that is the virtue of writing in flexing your mind, really, that once you start writing, those ideas and understandings, they start building on one another. I've written about management, I've written about economics, sociology, I've written about music, games. I've written a lot of essays in my life. I've been working for 14 years, and I've written a lot, and I've seen a lot in the world. And I was fortunate enough to publish a book, and there's a lot of other writings that I still didn't publish. But I used writing as an activity to help me flex my mind. My goal is not to make money. Um, if you look at journalists look at speed of writing. But poets look for beauty in writing. What else do we have? We have the fundamentals and the foundations of writing that you learn in writing class. That you have to have an introduction, a body, and a conclusion. But before you explore all those possibilities on what you want to write, you want to start with some basic level writing. Start by advancing your brain into the act of giving feedback. And when I say giving feedback, I'm saying any topic that you've ever come across. Go ahead and open a piece of paper and write your feedback right there. If you write your feedback, that piece of information has gone out of your mind safely. Otherwise, it was rotten in your mind. You've learned something, it's rotting in there. Believe it or not, it's rotting. Years pass by, you have opinions that you haven't expressed, you have feelings that you haven't expressed. You'll discover that you have a lot to write feedback about, actually. But typically, you don't have an audience for your feedback. And because you don't have an audience for your feedback, you stay quiet and you don't write it. And you don't say it. But if you sit and think clearly about any topic and just give your feedback on it, you'll find that you are more than capable of writing. You are more than capable of becoming a journalist even. You're more than capable of even becoming a poet if you practice writing enough. Now I'm saying this as a starting lesson. Start by giving feedback. Now, if you want to really tap on the value of writing feedback, you'll really discover that once you write feedback about every topic you've ever come across, whether it's reading or chatting with others, you'll find that you have let loose some information inside of you. You have worked your mind, you came up with some sort of feedback and you've written it. You're clearing the way for more creativity for you to build on that feedback. And once you are writing the feedback, that information actually gets memorized. So if you've ever heard about learning by teaching others, now once you write on that piece of paper, even if no one has the ability to read it, it's your own personal diary, but essentially you're practicing the act of teaching. And if you write your feedback, you are learning that piece of information more and more. Now, if you want to write it quickly, you can write it quickly. It doesn't mean anything. You can write water equals 1.5%. That you haven't written anything. You've just written like a formula. But that's one type of feedback. Or you can say, I really discourage people from paying that additional money for a bottle of water, and people should drink tap water or should switch brands. But no, doesn't matter. Your opinion doesn't really matter. What matters is that you've given your opinion. So I used writing to advance myself, and I hope that by watching this video, you are able to capture any beautiful moment in your life or a piece of information, and you're able to script it on a piece of paper, and you'll see the results immediately. So thank you.